I woke up with my head pounding, the world spinning around me as I tried to make sense of the unfamiliar motel room. The air conditioner rattled, barely cooling the humid Costa Rican air. Something was wrong. Very wrong. My wife Jennifer was gone. Her friends, too. My wallet, phone, passport, all missing. On the nightstand lay a handwritten note. Survive this genius. The realization hit me like a freight train. This was no accident. This was abandonment. This was betrayal. What they never expected was how I would respond. Before I tell you how I went from abandoned victim to the architect of my own revenge, let me know where you're watching from, and hit subscribe if you want to see how I turned this nightmare into the best decision of my life. I always considered myself lucky. By 32, I had built a successful cybersecurity company from the ground up. My colleagues called me brilliant, though I just saw myself as hardworking and detail-oriented. That same attention to detail should have warned me about Jennifer when we first met. She approached me at a tech industry mixer 4 years ago. I remember being surprised that someone so beautiful would take an interest in me. Jennifer was stunning with her auburn hair and confident smile. She laughed at my awkward jokes and seemed genuinely impressed when I explained my work. Within 6 months, we were engaged. By our first anniversary, we bought a house in the suburbs. Our wedding photos showed us beaming her friends, surrounding us with champagne flutes raised high. Those same friends would become accomplices in her betrayal. The first cracks appeared in our 3rd year of marriage. My company was expanding, requiring long hours and total dedication. Jennifer grew increasingly resentful, claiming I cared more about work than our relationship. Maybe she was right, but I was building something for our future. You and your precious algorithms, she would say. Is there even room for me in that big brain of yours? In retrospect, the contempt was always there, just carefully disguised behind playful teasing. I just refused to see it. When things became particularly strained, I suggested a vacation. 2 weeks in Costa Rica, a place she had always wanted to visit. I thought it might save our marriage. I could not have been more wrong. Jennifer insisted we travel with her closest friend Stephanie, her college roommate, Derek, Stephanie's husband, and Megan, her colleague from the marketing firm where she worked. I never felt comfortable around them. They shared inside jokes and seemed to mock my analytical nature. They called me the professor or genius with thinly veiled derision. Our final night began with dinner at an upscale restaurant in San Jose. The conversation flowed along with expensive wine, but there was an undercurrent of tension I could not place. "Lighten up, Thomas," Derek said, clapping my shoulder too hard. "You look like you are calculating the square root of the bill." Everyone laughed. Jennifer did not defend me. Instead, she ordered another round of drinks. "A special toast," she announced, handing me a colorful cocktail. "To my brilliant husband. May he always have the answers." The drink tasted strange, but I dismissed it as unfamiliar tropical ingredients. Within 30 minutes, the room began to spin. My words slurred. The last clear memory I have is Jennifer exchanging glances with her friends, whispering, "The genius won't be so smart tomorrow." I woke up alone in that motel room 12 miles from our resort. My head throbbed with dehydration and whatever drug they had slipped me. The room was bare, except for basic furnishings. The tropical heat was suffocating without proper air conditioning. Stumbling to the bathroom, I splashed water on my face and stared at my reflection. My eyes were bloodshot. My wallet was gone. My phone missing. Even my suitcase had disappeared. I was left with only the clothes I had worn to dinner. Panic rising. I searched the room again and found the note on hotel stationery. "Survive this genius. Maybe put those brains to good use for once." It was signed by all 4 of them, with Jennifer adding, "Consider this your wake-up call. Not so smart now, are you?" I rushed to the motel office, where the manager spoke limited English. Through his broken translation, I learned they had paid for 1 night only. Jennifer had told him I was drunk and needed to sleep it off away from the resort. They had claimed I would check out in the morning. Using the motel phone, I discovered my credit cards were already being maxed out. Charges from luxury stores in San Jose appeared one after another. The joint account Jennifer and I shared had been completely emptied. I was stranded in a foreign country without identification, money, or resources. Their plan was perfect. The American embassy would help eventually, but the process would be complicated without identification. I imagined them laughing, expecting me to crawl home humiliated and broken. But something unexpected happened as that initial shock wore off. Beneath the panic and betrayal, I felt something else: clarity. For the first time, I saw my marriage for what it truly was, and I made a decision that would change everything. I would not be coming home, at least not yet. My first 3 days in Costa Rica were about basic survival. The motel manager, Miguel, took pity on me after I explained my situation. He allowed me to work cleaning rooms in exchange for continued lodging, though his suspicious glances told me he was not entirely convinced by my story. American man with no passport, no wallet. Very strange, he said, handing me cleaning supplies. Police problem. No, I assured him. Wife problem. He nodded knowingly. Mujer problems. Worse than police. Working at the motel gave me shelter, but I needed more. I needed a plan. I needed technology. On my 4th day, I ventured to a nearby cafe with free Wi-Fi. Without a laptop or phone, my options were limited, but I managed to create a new email account using their public computer. I contacted my business partner, Ryan, explaining the situation without revealing my exact location. Thomas, what the hell? He replied within hours. Jennifer called the office yesterday claiming you disappeared during your vacation. She is frantic, saying you might have had a mental breakdown. There is talk of contacting authorities. What is going on? I explained everything, including photographs of the mocking note they had left. Ryan was stunned. This is criminal, he wrote. We should contact the police immediately. I can wire money for a flight home today. But something stopped me from accepting his offer. The humiliation of returning immediately, of facing friends and colleagues after such a betrayal, was too much. And beneath that, a deeper instinct told me to wait, to think strategically. Not yet, I replied. I need time. Can you keep this between us? Send enough for basic expenses, but tell no one we have communicated. Let me handle this my way. Ryan reluctantly agreed and wired money to a local Western Union. For the first time in days, I had resources. But more importantly, I had made my first strategic decision. I would remain missing while gathering information and planning my next move. My technical skills proved valuable. At another internet cafe, I accessed our cloud storage, where Jennifer and I backed up our phones. She had forgotten to change the password. There I found text messages between her and her friends dating back months, detailing their plan. He is so absorbed in his work, he will never see it coming. Jennifer had written to Stephanie, 2 more weeks in paradise, before we leave Genius Boy to fend for himself. Derek had replied, make sure to empty the accounts before we go. No reason he should have resources to make this easy. The most painful messages were between Jennifer and Derek, revealing their affair had been going on for over a year. Stephanie apparently knew and approved, writing, you two deserve each other. Thomas is too boring for someone like you anyway. Their messages after abandoning me were even more callous. Do you think he is crying yet? Megan had asked. Probably still trying to logic his way out, Jennifer replied. Cannot wait to see his face when he crawls back home. Maybe he will finally realize he is not as smart as he thinks. Each message strengthened my resolve. This was not a spontaneous prank. This was calculated cruelty. My breakthrough came when I met Carlos, the owner of a small computer shop. I explained I was a software engineer who had lost my identification while traveling. He offered me temporary work, helping customers with technical issues. Americans always know computers, he said with a shrug. You fix, I pay. Carlos became my first ally in Costa Rica. When he learned more about my situation, he invited me to stay with his family rather than at the motel. His mother Lucia fed me traditional Costa Rican meals, while his sister Maria helped me learn Spanish. Through Carlos, I secured an old laptop and began rebuilding my digital presence. I monitored Jennifer and her friends through social media, watching as their initial gloating gave way to confusion when I did not immediately return home. 2 weeks after their departure, Jennifer posted, "Still no word." Beginning to worry. "This joke has gone too far." Stephanie commented, "He is probably just sulking somewhere. He will turn up." But as weeks turned into a month, their tone changed. Jennifer began posting frantically about her missing husband, crafting a narrative that I had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. She never mentioned abandoning me. Meanwhile, I was building a new life. My Spanish improved rapidly. Carlos introduced me to local business owners who needed cybersecurity consulting. Using my expertise, I began earning steady income without touching the emergency funds Ryan had sent. After 6 weeks, I secured temporary identification papers through the American embassy, claiming my passport had been stolen. I deliberately avoided mentioning Jennifer or filing any reports about her actions. Let her wonder. My voicemail began collecting messages. 10 at first, then 30, then 60. Jennifer, her friends, colleagues, my parents, all increasingly concerned about my whereabouts. I listened, but did not respond. Not yet. By month 3, Jennifer had drained her own savings on private investigators. Her social media showed her gaunt and stressed. Derek and Stephanie had stopped appearing in her posts. Later, I learned their marriage had collapsed under the strain of the affair being exposed. With my new income, I rented a small apartment overlooking the Pacific in a coastal town called Jaco. I established a daily routine: work in the morning, Spanish lessons at lunch, swimming and running in the evening. My body transformed, shedding the soft physique of an office-bound tech executive. Through it all, I meticulously documented everything. The original note, the text messages, bank statements showing the theft, credit card statements revealing their spending spree. I worked with an international lawyer to understand my options. "This is not just divorce territory," my lawyer explained. "What they did constitutes multiple crimes in both American and Costa Rican law." As my strategy coalesced, something unexpected happened. I began to appreciate my new life. The simplicity, the connections with Carlos and his family, the freedom from the pressure I had always put on myself. For the first time in years, maybe ever, I felt present. The final piece fell into place when I discovered through industry contacts that Jennifer, along with the remnants of her friend group, would be attending a technology conference in San Jose, just 2 hours from my new home. The timing could not have been more perfect. It would be exactly 6 months since they had abandoned me. The missed calls on my voicemail now numbered 121. It was time to reappear. I spent weeks preparing for the confrontation. Every detail needed to be perfect. I contacted Ryan to secure my company assets, ensuring Jennifer could not access anything during divorce proceedings. I purchased a new wardrobe, traded my glasses for contacts, and even got a stylish haircut from Maria, who had become a close friend. My appearance had changed dramatically. 6 months of tropical living had tanned my formerly pale skin. Daily swimming and running had transformed my body. Even my posture was different, more confident. The uncertain, overworking tech executive was gone. The technology conference was being held at the Grand Hotel San Jose, one of the most prestigious venues in the city. I arrived early, taking a position in the lobby where I would be visible but not immediately noticeable. I wore a tailored blue suit that my former self would never have chosen. At precisely 11:30 in the morning, they appeared. Jennifer entered first, followed by Stephanie and Megan. Derek was notably absent, confirming what my sources had told me about their breakup. They looked tired. Strained, nothing like the laughing group that had abandoned me. Jennifer was speaking intensely, gesturing with her hands, the way she did when stressed. The investigator says the trail goes cold after Jaco. He could be anywhere by now. I cannot believe this has gone on for 6 months. Stephanie patted her arm. Maybe it is time to accept that he is gone, Jen. People move on. Without a divorce, without closure, there is no body, no evidence of anything. Just gone. Jennifer's voice cracked. That was when I stepped forward directly into their path. Hello, Jennifer. The color drained from her face. Stephanie gasped audibly. Megan took a step backward, nearly tripping over her own feet. Thomas, Jennifer whispered, her voice barely audible. Is that really you? I smiled, maintaining perfect composure. In the flesh. You look surprised to see me. Funny, considering you left me with such specific instructions to survive. Her eyes darted to her friends, then back to me. Thomas, you do not understand. We were so worried. You disappeared without a word. I laughed, the sound echoing in the marble lobby. Without a word. That is your story now. Interesting revision of events. From my briefcase, I withdrew 3 envelopes, handing one to each woman. These are for you. Legal documents my attorney prepared. Restraining orders specifically, plus notifications of the criminal and civil charges being filed. Jennifer ripped open her envelope, scanning the contents with increasing panic. Criminal charges. Thomas, you cannot be serious. It was a joke that went too far. We came back for you the next day, but you were already gone. A joke. Drugging me. Stealing my identification. Emptying our bank accounts. Maxing out my credit cards. I kept my voice level despite the rage I still felt. The Costa Rican authorities have a different definition of jokes. So does the FBI, given that you committed financial fraud across international borders. Stephanie stepped forward. Thomas, be reasonable. We can work this out privately. I turned to her. Like you worked out your marriage, after Jennifer and Derek's affair. How is that going, by the way? Her face crumpled. So the affair had indeed destroyed their marriage, just as I had heard. There is nothing to work out, I continued. Hotel security has been notified not to allow any of you near my room or the conference spaces I will be attending. The restraining orders are effective immediately. Megan, always the quietest of the group, finally spoke. What do you want from us? Nothing. Not anymore. But you should know that detailed accounts of what you did have been delivered to your employers, families, and friends this morning. The complete story with evidence. I wanted everyone to understand exactly who you are. Jennifer lunged forward, grabbing my arm. You cannot do this to me. To us. We had a life together. I gently removed her hand. We had a fraud together, Jennifer. I just did not see it until you abandoned me in a foreign country. Consider yourself lucky. The old Thomas might have pressed for maximum penalties. The new Thomas just wants to move on. Hotel security approached, responding to the signal I had arranged earlier. Is there a problem here, Mr. Reynolds? No problem. These individuals were just leaving. I turned back to Jennifer and her friends. Do not attempt to contact me again. My lawyers will handle everything from here. As they were escorted toward the exit, Jennifer looked back, her face, a mask of shock and growing realization. The tables had completely turned. She had left me with nothing, expecting me to come crawling back. Instead, I had rebuilt everything and returned stronger than before. Later that day in my hotel room, I received a series of desperate messages from all 3 women. Apologies, explanations, pleas for mercy. I forwarded them to my lawyer without reading beyond the first lines. That evening, I met with legitimate technology journalists to share my story, ensuring the narrative would be accurately reported rather than manipulated by Jennifer. Within 24 hours, the story had gone viral in tech circles. The company I had built stood firmly behind me, with Ryan issuing a statement of complete support. Jennifer made one last attempt at contact, showing up at my hotel the following morning, despite the restraining order. Security removed her as she shouted across the lobby. "I loved you. It was just supposed to be a wake-up call. How did you survive? How did you do this?" I did not respond. There was nothing left to say. 2 days later, I returned to my apartment, in Jaco, breathing in the ocean air with a sense of peace I had never expected to find through such betrayal. The legal proceedings would continue, but I had made my point. I had survived. More than survived, I had thrived. The revenge I had so carefully orchestrated was complete. But something unexpected had happened along the way. The revenge had ceased to be the point. 6 months after the confrontation, my life had found a new rhythm. The divorce was finalized with terms heavily in my favor. Jennifer lost her job after the story broke her professional reputation in tatters. Stephanie and Megan faced similar consequences. All three were facing criminal charges for theft, fraud, and drugging me without consent. I split my time between the United States, where my company continued to flourish under joint leadership with Ryan, and Costa Rica, where I had established a tech education program with Carlos. We provided computer skills training to local youth, opening opportunities previously unavailable in the coastal community. The irony was not lost on me. Being abandoned with nothing had led me to build something more meaningful than I had before. My previous life had been consumed by work with little true connection. Now I had purpose beyond profit. Maria, Carlos's sister, who had helped me learn Spanish and navigate Costa Rican culture, had become more than a friend. Our relationship developed slowly, built on genuine respect and shared values, rather than the superficial attraction that had characterized my relationship with Jennifer. "You know what I find most interesting?" Maria asked one evening, as we watched the sunset from my apartment balcony. "You never talk about your ex-wife with hatred." I considered this. Hatred would mean she still has power over me. I prefer gratitude. Gratitude. For someone who left you drugged and penniless in a foreign country. She looked genuinely puzzled. Gratitude for the wake-up call, even if that was not her intention. I was trapped in a life that looked successful but felt empty. She freed me from that, though not in the way she expected. Maria smiled, taking my hand. "That is what makes you different from most people, Thomas. You can find the lesson even in betrayal." The company I built with Carlos expanded beyond our initial educational mission. We developed affordable cybersecurity solutions for small businesses throughout Central America, a market largely ignored by major firms. The work was challenging and rewarding in ways my previous career had never been. Jennifer attempted reconciliation several times, especially after the criminal charges gained traction. Her lawyer suggested that my forgiveness might influence the prosecution. I declined each overture. Forgiveness did not mean allowing toxic people back into my life. 1 year after being abandoned, I received an unexpected email from Derek, who had been conspicuously absent from the confrontation at the hotel. He had moved to Seattle after his divorce from Stephanie, rebuilding his own life away from the others. "I know you have no reason to read this," he wrote, "but I need to apologize. What we did was inexcusable. I got caught up in something ugly and cruel. The affair with Jennifer was a mistake from the beginning, but abandoning you was something worse. It was inhumane. I am not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I recognize the harm I caused and am truly sorry." I responded with a simple acknowledgement, neither accepting nor rejecting his apology. Some wounds heal. Clean others leave scars. What matters is how we carry them forward. The foundation I established to help travelers stranded in foreign countries gained international recognition. We provided emergency assistance, temporary identification, and legal support to victims of theft, abandonment, or other crises while abroad. Each person we helped reminded me of those first desperate days and strengthened my commitment to transforming my experience into something constructive. Looking back at the man I was before all this happened, I barely recognize him. Ambitious but narrow-minded. Successful but unfulfilled. Married but profoundly alone. The betrayal that was meant to break me became the catalyst for my rebirth. The lesson was clear. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to discover what truly matters. The people who tried to destroy me inadvertently set me free. Today my life spans 2 countries, multiple meaningful projects, and authentic relationships built on mutual respect rather than dependency or superficial attraction. The nightmare motel room where I woke up abandoned has faded into a distant memory replaced by moments of genuine joy and purpose. Have you ever experienced a betrayal that ultimately changed your life for the better? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes our greatest growth comes from our deepest wounds. If this journey of transformation spoke to you, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories about turning life's worst moments into unexpected opportunities. Share this with someone who might need to hear that even the darkest betrayal can lead to a brighter future. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, it is not what happens to us, but how we respond that defines our journey.